What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. We cover political news, y'all, and guess who we're talking about again today? If you watched my video from yesterday, of course, I recorded it 5 seconds ago. I just finished. Like, I literally turn the camera off, I stop it, and then start and record my next video. That's how I do all my videos. I do them back to back. I literally just stop it, wait a second, then start the next one and start talking again, right? Because I've got all my news, I've got all my research, I've done everything I've needed to do to get ready, to get prepared for this. So I get into the zone because, once again, like I said, I do this off the head, but I'm not a talkative person. I don't get out there and carry on conversations and just talk. That is not me. Anybody I work with, like, I don't tell these people, like, nobody that I know outside of YouTube knows that I really do this. I don't tell them about it because they would be in shock, because I'm the quiet guy over here just doing his job. That's what I do. And, you know, when they find out, that's what I'm here for, to be honest with you. One day when they just so happen to come across one of my videos, they're going to see it and be like, what in the hell? Hang on. And they're going to come to me the next day and be like, hey, I saw this video that looks a lot. That's what I'm here for. But let's get into the news before I rant on forever, y'all. Check this out, y'all. Presented with rise in border crossings, Kamala Harris chose a long-term approach to the problem. This is great. Once again, the corporate press is trying to prop up Kamala Harris, but does a lot more damage than damage control, if you know what I mean. Let's get into it. President Joe Biden, watching tens of thousands of migrants from Central America reach the U.S.-Mexico border just a few months into his administration, tapped his second-in-command to help address the influx, a decision that has exposed Vice President Kamala Harris to one of her biggest political liabilities. Now, I want you guys to remember this, so reported by the Associated Press, Joe Biden tapped Kamala Harris to fix the border problems, right? In other words, she's the border czar. He appointed her border czar. Not officially, but appointed her border czar unofficially. Let's just get that, because they're going to contradict themselves. Yeah, of course, you know why I point these certain things out in these videos, is to remember that, keep it at top of mind for later, because, yeah, they're going to contradict themselves. They always do. In grappling with migration, Harris proceeded cautiously. That's what she did. Is that what you call that? Not doing anything is proceeding cautiously? Got it. I will note that for later. Thank you. She focused her time and prestige on boosting private investment in El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala, the so-called Northern Triangle. Her goal was to help create jobs to bolster economies to dissuade migrants from making the perilous journey to the United States. That's what we call fixing the root causes, y'all. Yeah, we need to fix the root causes. It was a decidedly long-term and limited approach to a humanitarian crisis, and has allowed Republicans to tie her to the broader fight over the border. While migration from the Northern Triangle ebbed, it surged from other nations, sparking an emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border, one that Republicans have aggressively sought to exploit at Harris's expense. Yes, because you want to know why? At Harris's expense. You love that. Once again, painting her as the border czar, because we have had 15 to 20 million criminal aliens come across that southern border. That is why. They are destroying cities. They are destroying lives. They're taking money from the government. We are subsidizing criminal aliens. That's what we are doing. We are borrowing money to give to people that's not supposed to be here. Think about that for a second. A review of Harris's work on immigration reveals a record that is more nuanced than the one presented by her critics or allies. It also provides insights into how Harris, who took over as the Democratic standard bearer when Biden dropped out of the presidential race last month, might tackle one of the nation's most vexing concerns. Harris was never the border czar, or put in charge of border security, or halting illegal border crossings, as former President Donald Trump, Republicans, and even occasional media outlets have claimed.
Quote-unquote border czar. Vice President, Harris was not a border czar.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
People going to have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris, especially in her role as border czar.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Kamala Harris, who was appointed as the border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to work on kind of the root causes of immigration.
There has been so much criticism against Kamala Harris. You know, she was the border czar.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
So the border, if they weren't planning to address it in a major way, do not make her your border czar. She met with some of the Northern Triangle countries, but nothing has effectively changed.
Instead, she was tasked in March 2021 with tackling the root causes of migration from the Northern Triangle and pushing its leaders, along with Mexico's, to enforce immigration laws, administration officials said. What's the difference, right? What is the difference? I mean, you're splitting hairs here. You're splitting hairs. That's what you are doing. Of course, Alejandro Mayorkas is technically in charge of border security. But when you send somebody to tackle the border crisis and say, hey, let's go find the root causes of this so you can put a stop to it, it's the same thing. You're just trying to cut off the flow from further up the line, if you will. The end result is still the same. Nevertheless, she felt, and I think she was right, that what she could do the most was help basically lead the effort to draw in investment, using the confidence that a relationship with the White House would give to investors, said Ricardo Zoigna, a former State Department official who specialized in the Northern Triangle and who traveled with Harris to the region. Critics contend that she could have done far more but chose a less risky path, ensuring the problem only worsened. I would have to agree with that. That's what it seems like to me. Even after reading this article, that's what it still seems like to me. She was like, nope, I'm just root causes, said Mark Krikorian, executive director of the Center for Immigration Studies, which advocates for less immigration. Even if it worked, it's the sort of thing that takes generations, not one term. He also said there was no evidence that Harris pushed Mexico and the Northern Triangle nations to enforce immigration laws. Zero evidence, as a matter of fact. Once again, like I said, it appeared she did nothing but took a road trip. Harris has defended her work, and her campaign began running a television ad Friday that said Harris, as president, would hire thousands more border agents and crack down on fentanyl and human trafficking. That's an outright lie. Once again, why haven't you done this? You are the vice president. You could shoot Joe Biden. As a matter of fact, Joe Biden's not really all there. He tasked you with fixing the root causes, right? If more border agents will fix the problem now, why not do it, then tackle the root causes? These people can't walk and chew gum at the same time. That's what they're trying to tell you with this, right? Like, oh, well, she was just tasked with the root causes. As if you can't close off the border. No, hang on. As if you can't keep Donald Trump's policies in place and then also tackle root causes. Because Donald Trump had a good thing going with the border. He had the numbers way down, as a matter of fact. He had pretty good. The Remain in Mexico policy worked great, instead of catch and release like what they're doing now. Remain in Mexico. Just leave that. Leave that policy in place and then go tackle, right? But instead, they just allow them to keep flowing across the border, just taking their name down on a piece of paper and just letting them go wherever they want, or busing them wherever the hell they want to go. You know, there's that too. You got to remember that. It wasn't just evil Republicans doing it. The Biden administration was doing it long before evil Republicans were busing migrants to Martha's Vineyard. Democrats have also blasted Trump for helping tank a bipartisan immigration bill earlier this year that would have increased funding for border security, including the hiring of new Customs and Border Protection personnel. This is insane to me. I love this. They're griping at Donald Trump. When Donald Trump's a civilian, he's not in Congress, he's not in the Senate, and he's not the president. He has no official political office whatsoever. But they're blaming Donald Trump for this. Does this not seem deranged to you? Let me know down in the comment section. How can you blame somebody who has no control over the situation? Sure, he come out and said he doesn't like this bill because it legalized illegal immigration up to and including 4,999 criminal aliens per day. That's 5,000 people a day coming across that southern border. And then the president has the option to shut down the border. That doesn't mean he has to. Right? And do we think that Joe Biden would do that? No. Because, once again, he could have just kept Remain in Mexico in play, just left that policy in place, and saved Americans a lot of headache, a lot of heartache, and billions of dollars. But no, instead, they want to blame Donald Trump. It's Trump derangement at its best. Trump has been talking a big game on securing the border, but he does not walk the walk, the vice president said last month in Atlanta. Oh my goodness. What? For crying out loud, the guy was trying to get a big, beautiful wall built from sea to shining sea. Congress stopped him from doing that. Yeah, Congress stopped him from doing that. He had to compromise with just building walls in sections in hot spots. Yeah. That was a compromise. He wanted to build a wall from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific freaking Ocean. All the way across. So what do you mean he doesn't walk the walk? That's his entire shtick, for crying out loud. These people are insane, bro. Just insane. Later she added, Donald Trump does not care about border security. He only cares about himself. Lies. Immigration has long been an issue that motivates Trump and his base of supporters, and polls show it is among the most important issues on the minds of voters. As a presidential candidate in 2016, Trump said he would build a wall along the border between the United States and Mexico and get Mexico to pay for it. Trump was not able to complete the project, and Mexico did not fund the part of the barrier that was constructed. The former president also used explosive language to describe immigrants, launching his campaign by suggesting Mexico was sending its rapists and criminals to the United States. While in office, Trump sought to tightly restrict asylum, which was challenged in the courts. This time around, Trump has promised to oversee mass deportation of migrants who have committed crimes in the United States. Why would we not want these people out of the United States? We have seen a spike in what Trump calls migrant crime, but I call it criminal alien criminality because it rolls off the tongue a whole lot better, if you ask me. Let me know down in the comment section. I love criminal alien criminality. I don't even know if that came out right, but hey. Migration numbers have spiked and dropped during both presidencies. Border Patrol arrests on the southern border fell in Trump's first year in office, then shot back up, his next two rising to more than 850,000 in 2019. The numbers plunged in 2020 during the coronavirus pandemic, before rising even higher during Biden's presidency. Rising much higher, as a matter of fact, talking about millions per year. We've had, the official numbers are up to 10 million right now. So you divide that up. Divide that up over 4 years. Hadn't even been 4 years yet. You divide 10 million into 4 and see what you get. And see if that's not vastly different than the numbers under Donald Trump. As a matter of fact, the numbers under Joe Biden per month were almost the same as under Donald Trump's per year, as a matter of fact. They're very close, reaching a peak of more than 250,000 encounters in December 2023 before falling to 84,000 in June of 2024, federal statistics show. When Biden took office, he reversed dozens of Trump's moves on immigration, even as apprehensions numbers began to rise. That is right. That is what I was talking about earlier. Keep Trump's policies in place. They were working, for crying out loud. Harris received the migration assignment when border crossings were rising, garnering considerable attention and leading to bipartisan calls for action. Chris Newman, an immigration rights advocate in Los Angeles, said Harris was put in a difficult spot. She was tasked with developing a long-term policy framework rather than creating a short-term political performance project, said Newman, the legal director of the National Day Labor Organization Network. Biden and Harris had taken office only 2 months before, and Harris was under pressure to build her policy portfolio. Oh, wait, hang on. I thought vice presidents didn't have a policy portfolio. That's what we covered yesterday. That's what the corporate press was trying to tell us. Oh, vice presidents don't have their own policy portfolios. Once again, the corporate press just lying for convenience, I guess. Because it's like, why did you lie about that? Why lie about something so silly? Just bolstering their narrative. That's all it's doing. When he was vice president, Biden had taken on a similar role on immigration. In 2021, though, Harris was dealing with an especially challenging situation given the lack of governing partners in the region. El Salvador's new president, Bukele, had a fraught relationship with the administration due to human rights questions raised by his crackdown on crime in his nation. No, that he did a damn good job there, right? May have violated some human rights. Who cares? They're criminals. I don't really care about criminals, especially in another country. You round these criminals up, but you know what? He has one of the safest countries now, as a matter of fact. The man who was then president of Honduras has since been convicted of drug trafficking. The headaches for Harris began almost immediately, validating the concerns of some of her team that it was a no-win assignment. Harris traveled to Mexico and Guatemala in June 2021, where she defended the fact she had not been to the U.S.-Mexico border during an interview with NBC's Lester Holt by saying she hadn't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making. Yeah, that was insane, by the way. The point he was making is, hey, Harris, you're the border czar. You haven't been to the border. Why not? Oh, you're trying to find the root causes, huh? Hang on. How about you stop the flow of these migrants and then find the root causes, right? Like when you have a leak on a ship, you plug that hole to stop water from coming in, and then you figure out how to fix it. You don't just let it leak and then say, oh, we're going to have to go into port and go lift the boat up to plug this hole. You don't do that. She also drew criticism on that trip for warning migrants bluntly, don't come to the U.S. As if these migrants in these third world nations are watching U.S. political television, or watching our news, right? Says this on national TV. National TV. Not international TV. National TV. These people, once again, the propping up of the administration is insane. But most people wouldn't catch that, right? You wouldn't think that. Think, oh, well, yeah, she told them not to come, but they came anyway. They didn't hear the message because they don't watch American TV. Most of them probably don't even speak English, as a matter of fact. So how... I know, closed captioning, but even still, why would they watch? Like, do you watch TV with closed captioning? I'm just saying. Harris decided to focus on bringing private investment to the region, tapping into a network of business and nonprofit executives, and using the prestige of the White House to signal the Biden administration was backing the effort. The work linked multinational companies like Visa, Nestle, and Meta with smaller nonprofits and Latin American businesses, all of which pledged to increase their investment or bolster their work with at-risk communities. So there you go. How about let's give a bunch of money to a bunch of corrupt nations? That'll fix the problem. Get them to build manufacturing in their countries and not ours. once again, these people don't care about our country. Do not care about our country at all. Right? They're not trying to get manufacturing brought back to the United States, even though they're trying to import all these people. And don't let them tell you that's not what they're doing, because that's exactly what they're doing. Otherwise, they would have kept Trump's border policies in place. Simple as that. There's no nuance. You keep Trump's border policies in place, they were working. He had pretty good numbers. But instead, they lift all those policies and open the freaking floodgates to let millions come in just a short period of time. Millions. And it's been outright insane ever since. I'm done with this story, by the way. This story is aggravating the crap out of me. I can't do this. But these people are outright lying. They're trying to, once again, like I said in the beginning of the video, they're trying to prop up the Harris administration, but it's not doing a good job to anybody with any kind of common sense or a little bit of reasoning in their thought processes that can look at this and be like, okay, no, that's not how this works. You can't go and fix the root causes without stemming the flow at the southern border, for crying out loud. You can do both at the same time, as a matter of fact. But you can't go do one without doing the other one. You know, if you can only do one at a time, how about get that fixed? Right? Even if you want to put your own policies in place, pass legislation, whatever, how about do it? But they sat on their hands for 3 years. Right? And then it came up, Republicans wrote up that legislation, and it just so happened to be, it was uniparty Republicans. So it was garbage. It was outright garbage. It gave up way too much to the Democrats, allowing 5,000 migrants a day. Yeah, that's legalizing illegal immigration. That's what that was. That's exactly what that was. Sure, over months and months and months, it would have turned that number down a little bit to where it currently is, as a matter of fact, with Joe Biden's 2,500 a day. But that's it. It's still 2,500 a day. That's still way too many. Right? We have enough illegal migrants coming across the border without them letting them in. The gotaways, in other words. The ones that the CBP doesn't catch. Because once again, the estimated numbers are 15 to 20 million. The official numbers are 8 to 10 million. Yeah, they don't know. You go and look up the official numbers. Some say 8, some say 10. It's crazy. Why can't we have a solid number? Because they don't know, folks. They don't know. And the estimates on the gotaways, like I said, are equivocal. Just about. 8 to 10 million. Blows my freaking mind that these people will try to get away with trying to prop up Kamala Harris as some sort of border hawk or something, right? Saying, oh, well, she was playing the long game, y'all. No. Investing in South American countries, that's not going to fix your problem now. It's wishful thinking to fix it later. Right? It's not a guarantee to fix it. So why offer up and put up so much time and effort into a solution that's not guaranteed when you have a solution that will fix the problem now? I don't get it. Maybe you guys have some more insight into this than I do. Let me know down in the comments section. But that is all I've got for this one, y'all. And once again, blowing my freaking mind all day long. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.